want to, kind of check in, and I'll leave a little bit of time at the end for question and answer. But it's kind of an interesting thing that I start to see in the few years that I've been doing this is that there's a lot of motivation at the beginning, right? It's new and it's exciting, and you get this package in the mail and these little containers that look interesting, but also are kind of a lot of work to adjust to. And you got the momentum of the group, and it's like, okay, I'm going to do this, right? And then that novelty starts to wear off a little bit, and it's like, okay, now I need to settle into a new routine, right? Because this isn't some crash kind of diet where you follow this strict plan and all of a sudden you lose these 20 pounds in a month, and that's not what this is. This is about learning how to fuel your body properly, to work on some exercise that builds your muscles and your endurance and your cardiovascular health and all of those things. And then we start to add in the personal development and the mindset. And the intention is that you will integrate that into a permanent, healthy lifestyle so that you can live your best life. And I think that it's kind of an interesting thing because this program actually has a lot, it's quite open in the food groups, right? And I think that sometimes people would actually have an easier time if I was like, okay, on day one, you're gonna eat fruit for breakfast, you're gonna have celery for your snack, you're gonna have, stir fry for your lunch, and it's not like that. And so there is a bit of this learning curve, I almost find, in that you have to find your groove with the food, and you have to kind of figure out what meal plan is going to work for you, and is it going to be carbs in the morning or your shake in the morning or what have you. And you have to kind of feel that out a bit, and you have to start to integrate it into your everyday life, because it's not a set in stone meal plan, and we don't want it to be, because we want you to enjoy all the different aspects of food and nutrition. But I sometimes find that because it is so wide open that people actually find that more challenging. The other thing I find too, I was actually messaging with someone who was, doing it back in December before Christmas, and she's had a bit of a tough time getting back on in January, and she's messaging me saying, I'm having a hard time with the food, with the nutrition piece and the containers. And I said, okay, fair enough. That's the biggest piece, right? That's the piece people struggle with. And I said, what is it about it? And she's like, well, I just find that there's not a lot of foods I can eat that I like. And I said, well, what kind of foods do you like? And it was, she would say, well, I like spaghetti, and I like pizza, and pork chops and potatoes, and a few other things. And I said, well, actually, that's fine. You can still integrate those into your meal plan. I said, there are absolutely ways to do it. Maybe you have to change a couple of ingredients or what have you. And I said, have you checked out the Beachbody blog? Because you could find a recipe for pizza on there that fits with the containers. It'll tell you how to fit them in. You can find spaghetti. You can find pork chops and potato. Like, you can find whatever you like, right? And that is what we have to do. The reality of it is a couple of things. Number one, the information is available to you if you're willing to go out and find it. Number two, and you hear these cliche terms, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, but you have to want to change more than you want to stay the same. And I think Autumn probably throws that out in at least one of her videos, because it's true. At the end of the day, you've got to want to find that healthier version of spaghetti and be willing to accept that that's better food and fuel for your body and give it a shot than you want to stay the same and not have the energy and not be able to lose that extra weight because you're not willing to try the different recipe of spaghetti. And that is the reality of it. And so that is where mindset is huge. And so you will notice in the workouts, like I mentioned already, they say these key cliche terms almost always at the exact right moment where you're almost done, right? And you don't know if you can push through, and then they throw out, something, and you're like, I needed to hear that right now, because it's true. These things aren't always easy, but you've got to keep pushing and you've got to keep trying to make it to the end. And the end is never the end, but when you are striving for certain goals, you know that you have to have the mindset that you're going to have to do the work to get there. And, within that, you have to be feeding yourself the right messages. So if I sit here and I say to myself, this is too hard, I can't do this, I'm not going to make it, this isn't sustainable, I never get to eat treats, I'm never going to get to do this, and so I'm going to give up. If you're feeding yourself that kind of mindset, then of course this isn't going to be doable, and of course you're never going to get there, and of course you're going to quit. Because if we tell ourselves it's too hard and we can't do it, we won't be able to do it. If we tell ourselves, you know what, I am making this piece of progress, and this is getting a little bit easier, and I'm going to keep pushing forward because I know that all of these other people around me in the group are starting to achieve their goals, and I've seen them get amazing transformations. So I think that if I keep with it, I can get there. So if you start to feed yourself with those kinds of thoughts, that is what will help you stick it out. We have to work our brain, the muscles in our brain, not literally, but our thoughts. We have to work on our thoughts as much as we work on our physical muscles. If we don't build them up and feed them with the right fuel, then our thoughts will turn negative, and that negative spiral gets worse and worse, and we get deeper and deeper, and that makes it that much harder to come back out of it. So the reason why I focus, I don't start it in the beginning, and I was even getting feedback from someone that they're not even quite ready because they're still figuring out the program, and so that's fair enough. Go with it for you, as your own guide, what's working for you at the right time, but at least be starting to think about it. Start to think about mindset, start to think about where your thoughts are at, and what kind of messages you're telling yourself, because that is going to be the difference between whether you keep going or you don't. So what I really want to encourage everyone to do is to start thinking about what your personal development is going to be. Do you like podcasts? Are you I'm going to wake up and do a gratitude practice? I think when this stuff is new, people think it's like hippie-ish, or it's like new world, it's freaky. I didn't know any of this either before I started, but I have to say that, so as a coach, it's part of what we do every day, and that's because this whole thing is really focused on holistic wellness. And so I had the advantage because I came into this as a coach. I knew I wanted to do it and help people and get healthy all at the same time from the beginning. So that was huge for me. And so now I'm trying to bring it into my challenge groups because I know how critical it is. And I have a background in mental health, and the whole mental health piece has been such a journey for me. And I think that if you talk to other people on the team or other challengers, they would also talk about the mental wellness piece because it will override everything. So for me, podcasts are huge. I listen to them while I drive. And so whether you're a book reader, like I say, a journal for gratitude practice, whether you're just starting to get more aware of the thoughts that are in your brain, whatever it might be for you, I really want to encourage you to try it. So, you know, get away from those thoughts of, oh, it's too out there, it's too odd, I don't do that kind of thing, and give it a shot. I promise you, all it will do is add to your life. And I find that everything I listen to or everything I read, even if I get like one little golden nugget from it, it gives me something positive to think about or to try or to work on. You know, I do a lot of like confidence building type stuff, and that has really helped with my anxiety and self-confidence, obviously, and my own personal growth. So think about what you struggle with and what you think your barriers to success are. Like I know for me, when I get stressed, I do emotional eating, and that is really common for people. And so when I dig into that, I know, I mean, stress management, obviously, but I do that with the workouts. But it's because I probably lost something within my self-confidence because I haven't achieved this or this went wrong or whatever it is. And so that's what I need to dig into. And I need to dig into it now before the spiral starts. And so what I actually recommend is try to do like 10 minutes a day, just 10 minutes. And so that, I think, for me with the podcast, it's really hard for me to say I can't fit in 10 minutes a day. I think that we all drive probably, and you probably drive for at least 10 minutes somewhere every single day. So find whatever it is that speaks to you, whether it's like there's this one called Earn Your Happy by Lori Harder. Her stuff is quite good. You know, there's classics like Tony Robbins, whoever it is that speaks to you, find your person. If you like people who are a little bit kind of different, You Are a Badass is a really popular one. She's just kind of quirky, and that works for some people, but her message is really quite good. So those are just a few of my recommendations, but you can go to like the personal development section at any bookstore and you know, look at what they have and see what might be a fit for you. So there's things like that, but you know, obviously I did the vision board. I really believe in those. I think that they're really powerful. I think that looking at something like that, so whether you actually do a vision board or you, you know, there's lots of, so I mean, this is kind of an example of one. My sister-in-law bought this for me. I Choose Fabulous. I mean, it's not as powerful a message as some of the stuff I like, but you know, you could get something like that that's like a picture in a frame and put it. The key though is to put that, or whatever kind of wonderful people get me things like this.
Some people are just so nice.
They are amazing. You know, when you have a journal like this to write in, if you actually take the time, so the difference too is between having a picture like that one I showed you up on your wall, and it just over time fades into the background. You have to be mindful, right? You have to be mindful to kind of stop and read it and think about it. The same with something like this. So if you're a person who likes to journal or do your gratitude list or whatever it might be, you have to stop and read the words and think about them, right? So I can't just grab the book and open it up and, okay, I'm just, you know, I'm going to write everything down. I mean, I guess if you're in the mindset of to work on stuff anyways, then maybe that's fine because you're there, but really stop and read it. So think about the words and what they mean to you, and working on, you know, those positive affirmations and the language that you use when you talk to yourself. That's the kind of stuff when I was working more in mental health. I'm not in that area of social work as much right now, but we talk about that a lot, right? Like, just being mindful of your thoughts is really critical. And that's why a lot of people are into yoga and into meditation and things like that. They actually take you away from your thoughts more and more into your body so that you don't let those negative thoughts kind of take over and run wild. You get a break from them, so that hopefully when you get a break from them, you're able to kind of reflect on that and come back in a more positive light. So I just want to emphasize how critical this is, because I think that it really is the main component between continuing to move forward and giving up. So that's kind of my honest opinion on that, and that's why I specifically wanted to do it the call at this point, where the novelty is starting to run off a little bit, and it's time to kind of come to the reality that this isn't intended to be 21 days of just doing it and then going back to our old ways. It is intended to be a journey. And so in keeping with that, another reason why we were interested in doing a bit of a progression group this time, we've never done this before, this is new, is because it is kind of exciting for those of you who are wanting and feeling and ready to go to Chisel on Monday, is because one, yes, it will start to challenge your body physically in a different way, but two, hopefully it kind of gets you excited again to start a new program and, you know, okay, well, what are these workouts going to be like? And so we thought that that might also help people, you know, stay focused and stay interested and to keep their body challenged. So just again, we were planning to do 21-day fix to Chisel to 21-day fix extreme to country heat. Now, if you are feeling like you're not ready, because Chisel is a little bit harder and the workouts are a little bit longer, so if you're feeling like you're not ready for it, then absolutely. I don't want you to feel pushed into something that you're not ready for. It is up to you. But I think that for the people who are feeling like it would be good to try the next program and to keep that excitement going or to challenge themselves, then absolutely. I think that if you are still finding 21-day fix extremely difficult, which, I mean, hey, fair enough. I did it in the beginning for, I think, 4 rounds. So then maybe you want to stick with it. Obviously, stay in the group, but you don't have to move on to Chisel. It's really up to you. I think that if you have been doing 21-day fix for a while, give it a shot. You know, give it a shot and take it on and go with it. And again, I said this in the first call that I did, but it is ideal to do one program and to do it from start to finish. So if you're thinking, well, you know, maybe I'll do some of 21-day fix and I'll do some of Chisel, you can, of course, you can do, oh, kitty, you can do whatever you want. It's not, you know, ideal though. For best results, you want to stick to one program, do it start to finish. Yeah, so just a last little comment before I open it up to question and answer, or maybe some of the other coaches want to speak. But one thing I can promise you, and the reason again why I bring this up is because historically, unfortunately, I have seen where people have done the program for a month, and they've only kind of sort of followed it, and they didn't maybe lose the full 10 pounds that they were hoping to in that first month. And they come back to me and they say, well, this program doesn't work for me. I'm going to give a little bit of tough love because I think that a lot of the time I don't, and I stay with the warm and fuzzy because I do like to be warm and fuzzy. But at the end of the day, I don't think there's ever a time where a plan of healthy eating and exercise doesn't work. It just is a little bit of a longer process. It's not a quick fix crash diet intended to help you drop a whole bunch of weight at the very get-go. I look at my body 2 years in and it is still changing. It's always changing. And, that's 2 years, right? It is a process. But it is a process like none other in that if you stick with it, even 80-20, like I don't often follow the plans 100%. So please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't, have birthday cake, at times and have a glass of wine or whatever it is that you like. So I don't want to confuse anyone with that, but you will get there with healthy eating and exercise. It works. It always works. And if it like literally is not working and there's something odd going on, then you need to message me or your coach because maybe you have, maybe you're in the wrong calorie bracket, even though I still think you would get there eventually. But we could look at that. Or maybe you have an underlying medical condition or, sometimes there's like a hormone thing going on or something that, maybe we would advise you to go to your doctor. But my point of it is that if you stick with it, you will get there. You will achieve amazing things. So that's all I have to say. And first of all, do any of the other coaches want to say anything? Silence. Okay. How about questions? Anybody? Do the things I said somewhat make sense? Is it helpful?
Crystal, I don't really have a question, but I just wanted to mention something that I figured out. I was trying to do the workouts in the morning, and some of them I am doing in the morning, but yeah. I have a way better workout in the evenings. Like I just feel so much more energetic and so much stronger in the evenings.
Okay.
So does it really like make a difference when you do it? Like I've heard people say, oh, you got to do it in the morning because then it revs up your metabolism for the whole day kind of thing.
People make different claims about that, and you can go and you can read an article where one expert's claiming that and the other expert's claiming something different. At the end of the day, from the research and the reading that I've done, the bottom line is do it when you can do it. The only one thing is that sometimes when people do it too close to bedtime, they can't fall asleep. So that one thing to be mindful of. But no, absolutely. I mean, for me, I try to be that morning workout person. I really do. And when I do it, I love it because it's done for the day and I'm, energetic and what have you. But yeah. I'm really pleased with what I've achieved in the 2 years. And I would say 80-90% of the time, I am not doing it in the morning. So no, that is not true. I mean, there might be those little truths that it gets your metabolism going and what have you. But is it critical? No. Do not worry about that.
Okay, cool.
I'll just add, a couple seconds to that, but I totally agree because being on this journey almost a year now, I mean, I've lost a lot of weight and my body's changed a lot, and I squeeze it into what Crystal calls the mum cracks. So, I mean, I would love to do it 7 days a week, first thing in the morning, but I like to sleep. And so I mean, my daughter woke me up at 7:30 this morning. I was like, oh crap, but anyhow, so I just, as you can see, finished a second one tonight late, and some days it's 9:30 at night, some days it's 6 in the morning, some days it's the first half hour of a soccer game and I only watch the second half. Like I just make sure to take the time for me. And sometimes that means dropping the child off and not watching them, practice the first 20 minutes before the game starts. I zoom back home if I'm close enough. So just squeeze it in and just make sure you take the time for yourself.
Yeah.
Cool. And I have one more question.
Yes.
The
As many questions as you like.
The chisel, there's no limit?
No, and the great thing about it is that you just asked that question that probably lots of other people who maybe are going to watch the replay have been wondering too. And so that's why I love, we've just started doing these, but I love the idea of them because it helps everyone.
The chisel, you mentioned that it's a longer workout. How long are they?
They vary. I think they vary from 30 to 45 minutes.
And is that just another package that you click on or whatever? Like, is it, or how do you set up for that?
Yeah. So did we switch you over to the online access? Have you used the online at all?
Yeah, that's all I've been using, but I've only been doing the 21-day fit.
Okay. Well, Hammer and Chisel is in there as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in the library. And so we're just doing the chisel portion of Hammer and Chisel because we're just kind of doing like an autumn marathon. That's just what we decided to do. And so, yeah, you'll find all those workouts in there.
And is that something that because originally do I only have access for the 30 days? Do I have to do something?
Did we switch you over
I don't think
the annual?
I don't think we did yet.
Okay, I'll send you the form. It's no big deal. And the great thing about it, I mean, like they're doing this crazy promotion. It will actually be cheaper now for you to switch to that for the full year than what everyone historically had to pay quarterly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I think it works out to like $8 a month or something. I don't know.
Wow, that's cheap.
It's a really good deal.
Cool.
Yeah. What about any other questions?
In the chisel, they also have, I guess, a modifier of sorts. So you don't have to be too worried. Like I tried it and I was okay.
And I think the other thing too, just like the same with 21 Day Fix, when you're coming into a new program, start with no weights or, reduce your intensity or your number of reps, like feel out a program first and definitely don't be afraid to scale it back. There's definitely nothing wrong with that and you will still get great results. And then as soon as you feel like you're ready to add in your weights or, follow the pace of the main group, then do that.
Okay.
So are we going to keep on going throughout the whole year, like with the progression?
Well, I mean, we have this plan to do, obviously, the 4 programs. And then, yeah, I'm sure everyone will want to do something different after that. I don't know what it will be, but, the team can decide. I'm open. Or they might launch a new program. They'll launch a couple new programs this year that everyone will have access to and on demand. So we can see maybe what comes out and we'll just keep going.
Cool.
Yeah. Anything else? Anyone or any other thoughts?
How do you get those iPod or what do you call them?
Podcasts?
Yeah.
Do you have an iPhone?
Those. Yeah.
So go into your app store and search for podcasts.
Yeah.
See, do you have that app, podcast? See if you can see my phone with my million apps. See that purple one there? This one?
Yeah.
You can't read it, but it says podcasts. And then when I go in there, there's like a little magnifying glass to search at the bottom.
Yeah.
So even search like motivation, or search, or I don't know, like Tony Robbins, or search whatever, and then you'll find it'll list that, what do they call them? Podcasts, like that series, and then you click subscribe. And when you subscribe, it'll start filling in a feed of episodes. And
Okay.
then, you just look at the title of the episode, and I kind of go, oh, okay, well, that one maybe sounds interesting, and I choose which ones I want to listen to. And it's great because it's just always there. It's like this huge resource for whenever I have some free time, or like, if I'm doing laundry, or, I'll listen to it. It's just super convenient and helpful. Any other? And like Winners is great for the, signs and stuff like that are inspirational, or chapters, or stores like that have kind of neat things. They tend to focus on that positive mindset kind of stuff. If you think something like that would work for you, just put it somewhere prominent that you're going to look at it and think about it every day, especially in the morning or at night. I find, like, in the morning when I get up, starting my day, and then at night before I lay down, because I don't know about you, like, I have a really busy brain, and so for me to be able to, because I think so much before I fall asleep, so for me to be able to focus on something positive is definitely a lot better than to let my thoughts kind of just run wild at nighttime while I'm trying to fall asleep. But whatever works for you, of course. All right.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I hope that was helpful. And again, of course, if you're having a difficult time with anything, or you need advice, message your coach, right? Message any one of us. That's what we're here for. We genuinely want everyone to get the best results possible. That's why we do this. And we all really, really love it. So, please reach out. We are definitely here for you. Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming on the call. I appreciate it. And have a great night.
Thanks, Crystal.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye.